The Miracle in the Andes is an extraordinary story of survival and resilience in the face of unimaginable circumstances. When a plane carrying a Uruguayan rugby team, along with their family members and supporters, crashed into the Andes Mountains on October 13, 1972, the 45 passengers on board faced the brutal reality of their situation. Out of the 45 individuals, 29 survived the initial crash, but they soon became stranded in the harsh and unforgiving environment at an altitude of over 11,000 feet. The survivors were ill-equipped for the frigid temperatures, harsh winds, and lack of food. Over the course of 72 days, they were forced to make harrowing decisions in order to stay alive, including eating whatever meager rations they had and crafting makeshift blankets and clothing from the plane's wreckage to endure the extreme cold. One of the most controversial and widely discussed aspects of their ordeal is the act of cannibalism. After running out of the limited supply of food they had scavenged from the wreckage, the survivors resorted to consuming the flesh of the deceased in order to sustain themselves. This taboo and morally fraught decision has been the subject of extensive analysis and debate. It is a testament to the unimaginable choices the survivors had to make in order to endure and the depths of human resilience in the face of extreme adversity. In this essay, we will delve into the details of this remarkable story and explore the various facets of this taboo subject, shedding light on the critical moral, ethical, and psychological aspects of the survivors' experience. The decision to consume human flesh. The survivors of the crash were stranded high in the Andes with minimal food supplies and no hope of immediate rescue. Faced with the prospect of starvation, they made the agonizing decision to consume the flesh of the deceased in order to survive. This decision was not taken lightly, and the group struggled with the moral and psychological implications of resorting to cannibalism. It was a desperate measure born out of necessity, and the survivors later spoke of the profound emotional turmoil they experienced during this time. As days turned into weeks, the survivors grappled with the harrowing reality of their situation. The altitude of over 11,000 feet posed significant challenges, as the human body often struggles to adapt to such high elevations. Moreover, the frigid temperatures and harsh winds intensified the already dire circumstances, making it increasingly difficult for the survivors to retain body heat and conserve energy. The scarcity of food was a constant source of distress, and after consuming the limited supply of snacks salvaged from the wreckage, the survivors faced the grim prospect of starvation. In a desperate bid for survival, they turned to the deceased as a source of sustenance. Despite the taboo nature of their actions, it's important to recognize the extraordinary lengths to which the survivors went to ensure their survival. The act of cannibalism, while deeply unsettling, underscores the unyielding determination and resourcefulness displayed by the individuals in the face of unimaginable adversity. The survivors' ordeal is a testament to the remarkable resilience of the human spirit, as they grappled with the ethical and psychological ramifications of their decision. The psychological toll of consuming human flesh cannot be overstated, and the survivors have candidly shared the profound emotional anguish and moral conflict they endured during this period. The decision to consume human flesh was a pivotal moment in their harrowing journey, highlighting the extraordinary sacrifices and moral dilemmas that arose as they fought for survival in the unforgiving Andes. The physical and psychological effects. Consuming human flesh had both physical and psychological implications for the survivors. From a physical standpoint, the consumption of lean muscle tissue provided much-needed sustenance and energy, enabling some of the individuals to endure the harsh mountain conditions. The human body requires a significant amount of energy to endure the extreme environment at an altitude of over 11,000 feet, and the consumption of the protein-rich flesh of the deceased helped sustain the survivors during this trying time. In addition to protein, human muscle is also rich in glycogen, which is the body's primary source of energy during physical exertion. This macronutrient intake was crucial for the survivors to maintain their physical strength and endurance while facing the formidable challenges of the Andes. However, there were also risks involved in consuming human flesh. The survivors faced the potential for disease transmission, as consuming raw or undercooked human flesh carries the risk of contracting infections such as trichinosis, a parasitic disease caused by the roundworm Trichinella spiralis. The survivors' precarious health condition, combined with the lack of proper cooking facilities, heightened these health risks. Additionally, the mental anguish of consuming taboo food cannot be underestimated. The act of eating human flesh was deeply unsettling, and the survivors grappled with the emotional and psychological impact of this decision long after their rescue. The echoes of their actions reverberated through their lives, shaping their perspectives and attitudes in the aftermath of the ordeal. The psychological trauma of consuming human flesh imposed a heavy emotional burden on the survivors, and their experience shed light on the profoundly distressing nature of this desperate measure. The enduring psychological impact of this extraordinary decision demonstrates the moral and emotional complexity of the survivors' harrowing experience. The moral and ethical dilemma. The act of cannibalism in the Andes presents a profound moral and ethical dilemma that has sparked extensive debate and introspection. When faced with the harsh reality of their situation, the survivors made the agonizing decision to consume the flesh of the deceased in order to survive. Stranded at an altitude of over 11,000 feet in the unforgiving Andes, they were ill-equipped to withstand the frigid temperatures, harsh winds, and lack of food. The survivors' ordeal lasted for 72 days, during which they grappled with the harrowing reality of their circumstances. After running out of the limited supply of food scavenged from the wreckage, they turned to the deceased as a source of sustenance, highlighting the extraordinary lengths they went to ensure their survival. The taboo and morally fraught decision to resort to cannibalism was a desperate measure born out of necessity. The ethical conundrum continued to torment the survivors as they were torn between conflicting emotions. While they felt guilt and shame, they also grappled with the imperative to stay alive. This decision was not taken lightly, and the survivors later spoke of the profound emotional turmoil they experienced during this time. Despite the deeply unsettling nature of their actions, the act of cannibalism underscored the unyielding determination and resourcefulness displayed by the individuals in the face of unimaginable adversity. The decision to consume human flesh had both physical and psychological implications for the survivors. From a physical standpoint, the consumption of lean muscle tissue provided much-needed sustenance and energy, enabling some of the individuals to endure the harsh mountain conditions. Human muscle is rich in protein and glycogen, essential for maintaining physical strength and endurance in a challenging environment. However, there were also risks involved in consuming human flesh, such as the potential for disease transmission, including infections like trichinosis. The enduring psychological impact of this extraordinary decision demonstrated the moral and emotional complexity of the survivors' harrowing experience. The survivors candidly shared the profound emotional anguish and moral conflict they endured during this period, and the echoes of their actions reverberated through their lives, shaping their perspectives long after their rescue. The ethical conundrum continues to spark debate and introspection, prompting questions about the limits of human endurance and the depths of human compassion. The aftermath and legacy. Following their rescue, the survivors faced a complex journey of recovery and reintegration into society. They encountered stigma and judgment from those who could not comprehend the extremity of their circumstances. Over time, however, the story of the miracle in the Andes became a profound testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It sparked discussions about the nature of survival, the boundaries of morality, and the strength of the human will. The survivors themselves became symbols of hope and perseverance, demonstrating how the human capacity for survival can triumph over even the most harrowing of ordeals. After their rescue, the survivors underwent a rigorous process of physical and emotional recovery. Some of the survivors required extensive medical attention due to frostbite, injuries sustained in the crash, and the prolonged period of malnutrition. The psychological effects of their ordeal were equally profound, as they grappled with survivors' guilt, post-traumatic stress disorder, and the ongoing emotional repercussions of their desperate measures for survival. Despite the challenges they faced, the survivors persevered and gradually reintegrated into their respective communities. The miracle in the Andes also left a lasting legacy on the field of survival psychology and ethical discourse. It prompted discussions about the boundaries of moral decision-making in life-threatening situations, leading to scholarly inquiries into the psychology of extreme survival and the underpinnings of ethical reasoning during life and death scenarios. The survivors' experiences provided invaluable insights into the resilience of the human psyche and the ways in which individuals navigate moral dilemmas under extraordinary duress. Moreover, the aftermath of the Andes plane crash highlighted the importance of mental health support for survivors of traumatic events. The individuals who endured the ordeal faced significant challenges in readjusting to everyday life, often struggling with survivors' guilt, anxiety, and depression. The public's perception of the survivors ranged from admiration for their tenacity to morbid curiosity about their harrowing experience. This varied reception underscored the complexities of societal attitudes towards individuals who have lived through extraordinary trauma and the need for empathy and understanding in their ongoing journey of recovery. The miracle in the Andes continues to serve as an enduring example of the indomitable human spirit and the remarkable capacity for resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. The survivors' courage and determination offer profound lessons about the strength of the human will and the enduring power of hope in the most dire circumstances. Their legacy has become a source of inspiration for individuals confronting their own trials, fostering a deeper understanding of the human experience and the remarkable capacity for survival in the most challenging of circumstances. Conclusion. The tale of the miracle in the Andes and the shocking act of cannibalism that ensued within the grueling struggle for survival serve as a profound testament to the extraordinary lengths individuals will go to in order to stay alive, as well as the enduring complexities of human morality and resilience. The narrative of the survivors' ordeal lasting 72 days presents an exceptional example of human endurance and decision-making under dire circumstances. Although they initially salvaged some food from the wreckage, the scarcity of supplies meant they ultimately had to resort to consuming the flesh of the deceased in order to sustain themselves. This desperate measure was taken in an environment over 11,000 feet in altitude, characterized by frigid temperatures, harsh winds, and terrain challenges. The survivors' actions underscore the unyielding determination and resourcefulness displayed in the face of unimaginable adversity. The physical implications of consuming human flesh were significant, as it provided lean muscle tissue rich in protein and glycogen, crucial for maintaining physical strength and endurance in the challenging environment. However, it also posed risks such as the potential for disease transmission, including the parasitic infection trichinosis. The act of cannibalism had profound psychological effects, imposing a heavy emotional burden on the survivors. The enduring psychological impact demonstrated the moral and emotional complexity of their harrowing experience as they grappled with survivors' guilt, post-traumatic stress disorder, and the ongoing emotional repercussions long after their rescue. The survivors' decision to resort to cannibalism was a profound moral and ethical dilemma. Although they felt guilt and shame, they were torn between conflicting emotions and the imperative to stay alive. This taboo and morally fraught decision was a desperate measure born out of necessity, highlighting the extraordinary sacrifices and moral dilemmas that arose as they fought for survival in the unforgiving Andes. The enduring psychological impact of this extraordinary decision continues to prompt debate and introspection, shedding light on the profoundly distressing nature of this desperate measure. Following their rescue, the survivors faced a complex journey of recovery and reintegration into society. They encountered stigma and judgment from those who could not comprehend the extremity of their circumstances. However, the story of the miracle in the Andes became a profound testament to the resilience of the human spirit, sparking discussions about the nature of survival, the boundaries of morality, and the strength of the human will. The survivors' experiences provided invaluable insights into the resilience of the human psyche and the ways in which individuals navigate moral dilemmas under extraordinary duress, leaving a lasting legacy on the field of survival psychology and ethical discourse.